There was a chasing of a group of terrorists who had hostage of Americans. Little did they know that there were already a group of Marine snipers that already arrived at the spot where the terrorists are going to kill those Americans. The main sniper, Beckett or Gunny, finally receiving order from his mayor, Richard Miller, that he could execute the terrorists that were ready to kill the hostages. Suddenly, Beckett noticed that those terrorists use a child to execute the hostages. Beckett felt a lot of hesitation, while his teams rushed him to immediately take action. His team was waiting for him. The little boy was also feel hesitant to kill the hostage using a mashie that was given to her. He also froze and accidentally dropped the mashie while one of the terrorists yelled at her to take it back and kill the hostage. Time goes by and Beckett's mayor, as the team commander, started to lose his patience and shouted at Beckett. But Beckett is still hesitant. He froze because he had to put a bullet into a child. One of the terrorists finally had to kill the hostage by himself by slitting his throat. Beckett finally took the shot and intentionally missed that little boy as his target. The whole team then stroked the terrorist, and their colonel sent a helicopter to wipe out the rest of the terrorists who had running away. The mission ended with a rocket hit the terrorist's car with the little boy inside. After that mission, Beckett felt regretful. After his mayor, Richard Miller, had a small argument with Beckett, he finally decided that he will not hesitate for the next mission. When Beckett and his team were having a leisure time in Istanbul, one of his teammates mocked him because of what had happened earlier that caused Beckett feel bad. He then left his teammates and one of them approached him to calm him down. Not so long after that conversation, Beckett noticed a beautiful woman next to him. She then made an eye contact with him and smiles, causing Beckett to follow her pretty far to a dock. All the while, there was also a sniper who walks around and found a spot to take down Beckett from afar. He then locked his target on Beckett, who was still flirting with the woman he met earlier. Suddenly, there's a man who shot this unknown sniper and Beckett is safe. Then this man called Beckett. His name is Bidwell. He told Beckett to meet him in a restaurant in 20 minutes. He hung up his phone, and the woman who was with Beckett is already gone. After they met, Bidwell then told Beckett that he had been followed to Syria, and people are having a bounty for Beckett's life for 150 euros. So after Bidwell knew about that, he came to save Beckett. In their conversation, Bidwell also tells Beckett not to repeat his mistake, that Beckett must have the guts to do the right thing, even if it means he has to kill a boy. Bidwell knew about this matter because of Miller. Not so long after, for the next mission, Beckett and his teams were assigned to stop a group of terrorists, led by Roshan Gazakov or Abu Abdallah. These terrorists were targeting a Georgian gas pipeline to make a statement. The main mission was explained by the Marines colonel and a NATO contact, who turned out was the girl Beckett met before. She was Robin Slater. She told the teams that her people are going to help by them sending a sophisticated drone to keep an eye for the target on the field. For the first mission, Mayor Miller and his teams were supposed to protect an Austrian conglomerate, Kilian Grun. He was supposed to meet with the Georgian landlords about the pipeline, and the terrorists were already targeting him. Grun traveled with contractors in a heavily armed and heavily armored motorcade. While Grun's motorcade was on their way, the terrorists and the Marine were both standing by, without knowing each other's positions. Beckett and his teams were still looking for the terrorists' exact positions while they already launched a sniper strike to the car where Grun was in. The car then flipped. All of the personnel inside it is shot. The terrorists were attacking Beckett's team over and over while he and his team couldn't locate where the terrorists were, causing 2 of his team dead. The colonel then sent a drone to strike on the terrorists, while Beckett found out that his ex-girlfriend, Aurelia, and another teammate were dead by a gunshot. Grun is still alive, although he's heavily injured because of the accident. Back to the base camp, Beckett had an argument with Miller, and Beckett accused that the liaison for the Georgian army, Colonel Sergei Babayev, leaked his team's position to the terrorist. It was all because Beckett's team was totally blind and couldn't find where the terrorists were, while the terrorists were ambushing his team on the field. Since Beckett's accusations, he was sent to a small remote security station in the Caucasus Mountains. These people were led by Mashkov, an Euro-Asia ex-Marine. Even though Beckett wasn't kindly welcomed at first, he finally welcoming Beckett by took him on a first mission to strike on some thieves. Beckett then again had his own idea to catch them. Unfortunately, he was then having another hesitation to shot a thief who turns out to be a woman. Mashkov's comrade then released a shot to that woman's head from afar. The strike was successful. At night, Beckett and Miller catch up on some things that they worked on. Beckett then spent time with Mashkov, where he tells Beckett that he used to know Beckett's father. He also told a story where he used to also hesitate when he was on a mission because he saw a little boy holding a bomb. His hesitation to shoot that little boy, causing him to lost his comrades. The next day, when Beckett and Mashkov were having a patrol, Beckett then asked what was the reason that caused Mashkov had finally chosen this work. He then told Beckett that he's doing it for his country. But then again, he reminds Beckett that after all, they're sniper, and they should not feel hesitate when it's time to kill their enemies, no matter what. Later, their base camp was ambushed by insurgents, leading to a fierce firefight. While Mashkov told Beckett to get a hide on the mountains with Sajid, the insurgents strikes on Mashkov on the ground, causing him to lose all of his comrades. While the battle was uncontrollable, the insurgents later then releasing an RPG towards Beckett, and he tumbled down the mountain only to find that the insurgents had finally taken hostage of Mashkov and about to kill him. Through his sniper glass, Beckett then finds out that Sajid is a traitor and tries to cede his position to the insurgents. This time, Beckett follows his instinct and did not hesitate to kill Sajid, even though Sajid was the first friend he made when he was sent there. Beckett then managed to save Mashkov from being killed. Both Mashkov and Beckett finally came to a realization that Beckett now had the confidence he needed to be a qualified sniper. A drone was sent by Beckett's colonel to give them a signal that Beckett had to be back to Georgia. Back at the U.S. Georgian Army base, Beckett was told that there is Mashkov's informant who would tell him where is Gazakov and will take Beckett to meet him. After a bargaining, the informant took Beckett to the mountains where Gazakov and his comrades were there. Beckett also brings Gazakov's brother-in-law body remains where he was hit by a drone, because Gazakov wants to give him a proper burial. Later then, Beckett asked on Gazakov how he found Beckett and his teammates' exact coordinates earlier, but Gazakov didn't say a word. The colonel, who already watching from afar, finally dropped a missile from drone to strike them underground. This left Beckett with nothing. Back at the base camp, the colonel and Robin were both furious because Beckett had nothing to offer. He only said that Gazakov were able to find their exact location because he hacked and mirroring the US Navy's GPS, he noticed it at the mountain where he saw one of the Gazakov's comrade was holding a laptop who was too high-tech for them. Robin told Beckett that it was impossible that Gazakov were mirroring their drone because of the lack of the technologies Gazakov had. Since the colonel also thought that Beckett's assumption was absurd, he then ordered Miller and Beckett back to the base camp on Georgia. On another outing, where Beckett's team were going to ambush Gazakov, they had a hard time on coordinating Gazakov's location. But Gazakov could easily track down Beckett and his teammates, caused heavy injury on one of Beckett's teammates, Angst. Beckett finally tried to test his hunch by told Miller to take off his vest, which has GPS on it. It was correct. Finally, Miller believed Beckett that they were trapped during this outing and Gazakov could find them easily because he already hacked their system. Back at the pumping station, Beckett convinces one of his superiors, Miller, to take him seriously and told the colonel to consider the possibility of their system being hacked. He also tried to tell Robin and Grun that Gazakov had hacked their GPS. During this meeting, Robin reported that the satellite images showed Gazakov rebels was preparing to attack a pipeline. Beckett and his team were therefore sent to stop them. But Beckett believed that the satellites were hacked, and it was all just a setup so that Gazakov could attack their real target. Since the pumping station was a field commander and safe haven for Grun. He then discussed this with his mayor, Miller, who then told the truck to turn back around to the pumping station. Beckett's instincts turned out to be perfect. Before the team could return, Gazakov descended on the pumping station to carry out a bait-and-switch attack. They were managed to strike on the pumping station, and Robin, who was first didn't believe that the system were hacked, finally realized that Beckett was true. Robin then canceled the CFC drone, which was headed to pumping station. While the troops and the colonel were struggling to defeat Gazakov at the pumping station, Miller, Beckett, and his team fortunately came on time to stop and eliminate Gazikov and his comrades. Beckett then succeeded to eliminate Gazikov. After the shooting, Miller praised Beckett's actions. Back to Turkey, Robin finally said her apologize to Beckett. The movie then ended by Beckett offered to buy Robin a drink, just like last time.